Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I Overreacting, and it's by user Session Novel 8584. Am I overreacting? My husband has a secret roleplay world where he's married to my best friend. I genuinely cannot tell if I'm being insane about this. I need outside opinions. I haven't told anyone in real life because I don't even know how I'd explain it. My husband, 34 male, I'll call him Don, and I, 32 female, have been married for 7 years. I really thought things were good between us. We still do date nights, we don't really fight, everything felt normal. I wasn't sitting around worrying about our marriage or anything. So, a few months ago, I got really into this fictional roleplay website. You make choices and it generates the next part of the story for you. And you can create your own worlds with whatever characters and scenarios you want. I know it sounds kind of silly, but honestly, it's really fun and I got pretty hooked on it. I showed it to Don one night, thinking he'd think it was dumb, but he actually got super into it. I mean, he's on it for hours every night now, which I thought was great because it was something we could talk about together. Here's where everything fell apart. We share an iPad, and yesterday I opened the site and it was logged into his account instead of mine. I really wasn't going to go through his stuff, I was just going to switch back to my profile. But then I saw he had his world called Fresh Start, and I guess I got curious. The characters were him and someone with my best friend's actual name. 32 female, we'll call her Annabelle. I opened it and the first scene is him having this big fight with a woman who looks exactly like me. Telling her that he's wasted years of his life and he's done. Then he walks out and goes to Annabelle and suddenly they're together and he's saying all this stuff about how she's the one he should have been with all along. I had to stop reading because I felt I was going to be sick. And the thing is, Annabelle has always been the more attractive one between the two of us, and I've always known that. She's single and she's over at our place all the time. I never once felt weird about it until now. I know he didn't actually cheat on me. I know it's just a stupid app and none of it really happened, but he sat there and created this whole fantasy where he leaves me for my best friend. He came up with that. He typed it all out. He picked her specifically. I haven't said anything to him yet, and he has no idea I saw it. Part of me wants to confront him, but honestly, part of me thinks maybe I should just let it go. Like, maybe some things are better left alone. Maybe I don't actually want to hear what he'd say if I asked him about it. But then I think about the fact that he's probably still playing it every night while I'm sitting right next to him and I feel sick all over again. I genuinely don't know what the right move is here. Well, OP, I think his story, the one that you read, tells you everything you need to know about the state of your marriage or where it's going. And sure, technically it's not cheating. It's not even an emotional affair unless your friend was in on it. But I think it's a pretty big statement when the fantasy life you want to live is leaving your wife and being with her best friend. So I guess my reaction here would be, well, not give anything away. I'd get in touch with a divorce attorney. I'd start getting all of my ducks in a row. You don't mention having any kids, so that definitely makes this a lot easier. But everything else needs to be settled before you move forward with anything. And about confronting him, I'm not sure I'd do that right away. I think I'd have the conversation with the lawyer first to see what the next steps should be. But no, OP, you are most definitely not overreacting. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Bite Me 717 says, I personally would make his fantasy life reality. I wouldn't even check to see if they talked and text. I would have his bags packed when he got home and tell him that his secret role-playing just became reality. In my opinion, there is more reality to his role-playing than fantasy. I personally wouldn't want to be with him anymore. Her being over at your place all the time would play a factor in my decision. Lou Lemon Cake says, yeah, that's weird. Put a stop to it. You also need to keep an eye on this friend if I'm honest. My husband kissed a mutual friend of ours at the start of our relationship. They started talking again a few years ago and she's been sending him heart emojis and everything. I put a stop to it. She's denied all feeling for him, but I don't believe her. She's been telling him a pack of lies too. I know it's a slightly different story, but the truth is, I'd dig deeper. You only wind yourself up if you don't find out what's going on. Icy Maze 8879 says, I just want to start by making it clear that I am not criticizing you or meaning to hurt you with what I'm about to say. I'm genuinely sorry this has happened to you. Whether your female friend is reciprocating feelings or not, whether there's a real life affair going or not, your husband is showing you his thoughts and feelings clear as day. For someone to have passing feelings or a crush on someone is one thing. For him to sit and painstakingly create this scenario shows an obsession as well as an outright contempt for you. He's reveling in the idea of breaking up with you and riding off into the sunset with someone else. I find that really twisted. You deserve so much better than that. Wishing you all the best. And Chanel Lispector 17 says, he should be fantasizing about you and not someone else. He's an a-hole, and if he's so unhappy, why doesn't he just leave? Why do you need to keep yourself in this and another universe to have fun that directly affects your self-esteem and makes you feel bad because he fantasizes about someone very close to you? Him wanting another person is already betrayal. He doesn't need anything carnal or emotional. He already wants it in his heart, and at one point or another, he will do it. Additional information from OP's comments. I think what's been messing with my head the most is how blurry the line between fantasy and reality really is here. I'm not new to roleplay. I literally LARP as a werewolf and have a fictional alpha as a romantic partner online. I get it, I really do. Fantasy can be fun and it can be separate from real life. I've always treated it that way, but I never dragged real people into it. I never used someone from our life and turned them into my secret soulmate while my husband was sleeping next to me. That's what I can't shake. He chose her, not an anonymous character, not a celebrity, not some random made-up person. He built a whole world around my best friend. As I said, Annabelle has always been the beautiful one. She always has men chasing after her. I just never imagined my husband would be one of them. And the worst part is, a fictional version of her seems to be more appealing to him than the real relationship we built together. Somehow, that makes it feel even more personal. Because how am I supposed to compete with a perfect version of her in a world he controls? Well, the thing, OP, is you shouldn't have to compete. But the community agrees OP is definitely not overreacting and the husband is a scumbucket. Now, OP has given us 4 quick updates, so let's move on with those to see how this story ends. As per the comments, I decided to confront him this morning. Before that, to salvage our relationship, I also deleted his account on free roam. I could not stand the thought of him and Annabelle gallivanting in this fantasy land. When he found out about my truths, he went absolutely ballistic, saying that a man is allowed to dream, and that if I dreamed of cheating on him, that would not count as cheating. He claims that he was not cheating on me, whatever that means. He then snatched the iPad and went through all of the history trying to salvage his worlds and accounts on free roam. I almost feel bad. Did I cross the line? I also want to confront Annabelle next. What should I do? Update 2. I discovered something absolutely heartbreaking. I can feel my blood boiling as I type this out. As the comments mentioned, I began to suspect Annabelle may be more involved than I initially thought. So I searched and I think I found her profile. For some reason, she had a public world on her profile that was the same general idea as Dawn's. The character looked just like us, so I guess he must have told her he was doing it and she made one too. Seeing her profile with the same world makes it feel like the fantasy wasn't just some private escape anymore. It felt shared and it felt intentional. There is no way she just randomly designed the exact same scenario without him telling her about it. I don't believe that for a second. You can't make this stuff up and I'm about to lose it. Should I confront her about her world? Update 3. I confronted Annabelle and she promised me that Dawn and her have never gotten physical together. I told her that she had crossed the line and we could never be friends anymore. She felt embarrassed and irked that I had seen into her inner fantasy and felt that, as a close friend, I had invaded her privacy. I'm not sure what to believe anymore. In my heart, I know they have cheated. I have no evidence, but this story to prove my intuition. Her world just contained too many truths that seemed too close to reality. Now, all I want is for them to be honest with me. Just tell me what's true, whatever it is. Instead, they're acting like I invaded their privacy, like I did something wrong by finding the worlds they made about my family. Update 4. Taking all your advice, I called a divorce attorney. I'm told that I have no legal grounds and that a fictional story does not count as adultery. So, there are 0 legal grounds to claim cheating with only fictional stories. But because we don't have evidence of anything physical, and because I earn more, I was told he could potentially get support from me. I'm now staying over at my parents' place, ignoring both of their persistent calls. Part of me keeps wondering if something actually happened between them in real life, like when I wasn't home. I don't have proof, that's the problem. There's nothing concrete except these stupid stories they both have. But I also can't ignore the fact that my intuition has been screaming. I'm honestly not great at gauging what counts as normal behavior. I keep thinking maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion, but I've never felt this sick and humiliated in my own home. They are calling me immature for ghosting them and not speaking to them about the situation like adults. Honestly, I just don't know what to believe anymore, but I do know I'm done being the only one hurting in this relationship. Well, OP, I guess the next step in my plan would be for them to admit of their cheating. I mean, I don't know where you live or if it helps you. Maybe it does. Maybe that's why your lawyer mentioned it. So if that helps you, then that's the information you need to get from them. So until then, OP, here's wishing you the best. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user LikeIt5. My boyfriend, 40 male, thinks I'm, 37 female, someone else. Me, 37 female, and my boyfriend, 40 male of 7 months have a great relationship overall. We are living long distance now, but he plans to move to my town mid next year. He has been great support as I have been going through a rough time personally these last couple of months, but for some reason, he seems to have snapped. I'm spending Thanksgiving with my sister and her family and my kids. He is by himself in his state. I texted him throughout the day as usual to give him companionship and love, but about halfway through the day, my boyfriend started asking me, "Who is this?" and saying he knows it isn't me talking, which it was. He kept getting more insane with it, saying I was actually my sister, saying my ex was impersonating me or took control of my phone, and saying this was breaking his heart and that he was concerned whether I was okay. I was trying to tell him I was my normal self but was preoccupied with family activity, but he wouldn't let it go. My boyfriend then called me that night and I spoke to him, but I was being calm and quiet because I lacked privacy in my sister's house. I answered all of his personal questions and he just kept saying, "What is going on?" and that I was creeping him out. He said my voice didn't sound like me, called me robotic. He said I was an AI voice. Shake my head. Nothing was able to appease him. He ultimately said he would not talk to me until he figured this out. I haven't heard from him all day. We both asked each other if the other had taken something that would change our behavior, and both denied doing so. I'm starting to wonder if he's gone psychotic, but I have known him for 13 years and never seen behavior like this out of him. Does anyone know what is happening with him, or how should I respond? I love him and I just want him to believe me, but this was hurtful too. Well, OP, personally, I think I'd be concerned for your boyfriend. It doesn't sound like this is normal behavior to him, according to what you've told us. I mean, you mentioned you've known him for 13 years, and this has never happened before. So I think if I were in your shoes, I'd do a wellness check, or maybe call some family or some friends who would be close to him to see if they can check on him to see what's going on. Tell them exactly what happened. Maybe they have some insight that helps you understand a little bit better of what's going on. But other than that, I don't know what else you could do. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Pyrocidal says, yeah crap, this is psychological or neurological. You know what? That reminded me. He told me a little before we began dating that he was afraid to go back to the doctors after his doctor said he needed testing for possible Parkinson's or another neurological condition because he has on-off tremors in his right hand. I have seen on visits that it happens when he is stressed or sleep deprived, but he is so afraid that I haven't been able to persuade him to get checked out yet. I know that many untreated neurological conditions can cause mood and behavior changes and even psychosis, so this may be a part of his undiagnosed brain condition. Speedaminida says, this is known as the Capgras delusion, I think, and it's very specific in its effect. Believe that a loved one has been replaced. I would suggest you call emergency services, preferably ambulance rather than police, as police might scare him, to go check on him. Oliver Sacks has written about it, and the second episode of Beautiful Minds is about it if that helps. He has a good chance of being able to getting better, but does need help right now. No Contribution 2851 says, I had someone do this once and it scared me more than any fight. The one thing I learned was this: when a person starts thinking you are not you, it is not about the relationship, it is their mind slipping, and you can't fix that by explaining harder. His words were not coming from logic, and that is why nothing you said landed. Pull back and wait for him to get real help. Protect your peace first. And Peridios9 says, paranoid delusions, he needs immediate mental help. Contact someone close to him who can help him out. Provide all details of what he's doing. If it gets any worse, I highly recommend pushing for a wellness check through law enforcement. Remember to give details so they know they need a medical professional to assess him. Okay, well, the community were all pointing in the same direction. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I talked to my boyfriend's brother. He is a doctor and has also recently spoken to him, and we came to the same conclusion that he does need a health evaluation, but it is not an emergency and he was not psychotic. Unless he's starting to develop AI psychosis, which I just read a comment on today. I had a positive constructing talk with my boyfriend last night, and he came around and apologized for exaggerating and being so ordinary about it. He explained that his worry came from my different text style than he is used to, because I was multitasking, and recent fraudulent scammer things that happened to me. He worried someone got control of my phone, but he now knows it was me. I will continue to be vigilant about signs of controlling behavior, BPD or other personality disorders or any psychosis. He promised to get on top of his healthcare with regard to the existing concern for Parkinson's, and I will push for testing and scanning for other possible conditions like a tumor, bleeds, encephalitis, etc. Thank you to those of you who provided support and helpful feedback. Heart, if anyone else late to the game wants to accuse me of failing as a girlfriend or instruct me to do something I already did, just don't. Well, Opie, it sounds like a positive update. I mean, you were able to talk to your boyfriend, cleared the air, are very on the same page about how things went down. But you're not just going to sweep this under the rug. You're going to dig in a little further to see if there's anything there. Hopefully, there isn't. So on that note, Opie, here's wishing you the best. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Gotanks972. Neighbor kept treating my driveway like free parking, so I taught him a $300 lesson. Okay, so I need to get it off my chest. I live in a small cul-de-sac, nothing fancy, just your average neighborhood. My driveway fits 2 cars, mine plus my husband's, perfectly fine. For the most part, everyone here minds their own business, except my neighbor. Let's just call him Jack. For whatever reason, he thinks my driveway is like extra parking for his friends and family. First time it happened, I thought it was a mistake. His brother's car was in there. He said it'd just be a sec. A week later, it was some friend of his dropping something off. I didn't love it, but I figured, whatever, not worth making it awkward. But it kept happening. I'd come home from work. I'm a nurse, so some days I'm wiped out. And there's a random car blocking me. One night, I literally had to park halfway down the street and carry 5 bags of groceries because his buddy's truck was in my spot. Every time I said something, he'd do that half smile and go, "Oh yeah, sorry, they'll be gone soon," like I'm the one being difficult. The final straw. I get home late Friday night after a 12-hour shift, still in scrubs, starving, with takeout that's already getting cold in the passenger seat, and boom, giant white SUV just parked dead center in my driveway, not even off to the side, like full-on blocking me from even pulling in. I knock, no answer. I call Jack. He finally picks up and super casual goes, "Oh yeah, that's my in-laws. They'll be there only a couple of hours. Just park on the street. It's not a big deal." That was it for me. I called the tow truck. And yes, I checked before. Where I live, if someone blocks your private driveway, you're allowed to tow immediately. Tow guy showed up in 20 minutes. SUV was gone before I even finished half my fries. About an hour later, furious pounding on my door. Jack's beet red. His in-laws are yelling in the background, and he's going off about how I didn't have to take it that far. I just said, "You told me it wasn't a big deal, so I treated it like it wasn't a big deal." Then I closed the door. They had to pay almost $300 to get their car back, and funny enough, ever since then, my driveway has stayed crystal clear. Not even for just a sec. Good for you, OP, standing up for yourself. Your neighbor was clearly not being neighborly and he had to pay the price for it. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.